Hi, I'm Will, through the negative side. I'm here to point out how even in places where euthanasia is existing today in a workable legal form, it still is not working effectively and has many disadvantages. In order for it to work effectively, it needs to be ethically sound, not only for the patients, but also for the doctors. As my opponents brought up the Hippocratic Oath, they didn't mention the line that prohibits euthanasia. This line is from the Hippocratic Oath. I will neither give a deadly drug to anybody if asked for it, nor will I make the suggestion to this effect. Since many doctors prescribe to the Hippocratic Oath, that line alone tells them that they should not use euthanasia or even make that as a suggestion. A quote from Leon Cass, former chairman of the President's Council for Bioethics, stated about that line, in forswearing to the given poison when asked for it, the Hippocratic physician rejects the view that the patient's choice for death can make killing him right. For the physician, at least, human life in living bodies commands respect and reverence by its very nature. There's also a quote from Nigel Cameron, physician who appeared in Christianity Today, quoted saying, Hippocratic medicine treats human life as a gift from beyond human life, a covenant stewardship to be kept by patient and physician alike. Through all these statements, the doctor himself, by taking the Hippocratic Oath, has a moral standing to not give euthanasia and provide it for his patients, even if they ask for it. Next, for euthanasia to be effective, it needs to effectively help the patient and quickly relieve the pain and stress of the terminal illness with their consent. However, this need in places where it is provided takes a very long time. For example, in the Netherlands is a nation where euthanasia is legalized, and there are many requirements before a patient can even get approval to have euthanasia. Here are all of these requirements. The patient's suffering is unbearable with no prospect of improvement. The patient's request for euthanasia must be voluntary and persistent over time. The request cannot be granted under the influence of others and psychological illnesses or drugs. The patient must be fully aware of his or her condition and other options. There must be consultation with another doctor besides their normal physician. The death must be carried out in a medically appropriate fashion by the doctor or patient, in which case the doctor must be present, and the patient must be at least 12 years old. If the patient is between 12 and 16, the parents have to give their consent. With all of these requirements, in a place where euthanasia is already allowed, it's such a long, arduous process to even get approval that these patients who are already in pain are still going to be suffering from their pain and not be able to get, even if they do go through the process and get euthanasia finally, their treatment of death still is going to be a painful one, where their last days are still going to be in pain from their terminal illness. Also, these rules are not defined very clearly, leaving a lot for the doctors to decide for themselves, which also leads to what my partner was saying about the slippery slope effect, which has happened in the Netherlands. Nate Hessoff, a columnist in the Washington Post, wrote, in September 1991, official government Remlink report on euthanasia in the Netherlands revealed that at least 1,040 people die every year from involuntary euthanasia. Their physicians were so consumed with compassion that they decided not to disturb their patients by asking their opinions on the matter. This is just like murder, going to a patient and giving them euthanasia without their consent at all. And this has happened even since 1991 in the Netherlands, and the law still exists then. That just shows how much of a disadvantage it is to have laws like these that are so not well defined, which is also how they are in Oregon. The laws in Oregon are very much like those in the Netherlands. Overall, because these requirements in areas that euthanasia already is administered are so undefined and leave so much for the doctor's decision, it can't be effective for all the cases. The doctor will have to decide for most cases and can easily decide wrong. And that's a major disadvantage when considering what the patient might be thinking if they even have a choice.